and welcome. I'm Peggy. Thank you for sharing part of your day with us and stay with us. Oh, we have lots of good things to share with you. And you know, this is such a wonderful time of the year. And it's a time that we can reach out maybe to people we don't often see very often, or families. You know, it's the best time of the year. And a lot of things we can do are very worthwhile, and they don't cost a lot of money. And I'm talking about Chautauqua. And it is free, it is open to everyone, and they've been doing this for 20 years. And it gets better all the time. And guess who's here with me now? Caroline McIntyre, bless your heart. Thank you for coming. And you are the executive director of Chautauqua.
I'm just part of the show. That's right.
Well, I have to, you know, we've got to put the right title. But I know you've been a part of Chautauqua for a long time, and you love it, don't you?
Yes, it's we always have to be involved in something that's important to us, and I've had the honor for the last 20 years to be working with keeping history alive and getting people to come together and enjoy great shows and have good fun.
Now, they do it on the campus of Greenville Tech, and they have a tent. Is this right?
Yes, our big festival is always in June. This year it's June 15th through the 24th. 10 straight days. We have shows morning, afternoon, and evening. In the evening, we like to go outdoors. We put up a huge tent at Greenville Tech.
Yeah.
And you can sit outside.
Oh, that's so
you
much
can
fun.
Yeah, bring your lawn chairs and whatever, and listen to a great speaker of the day. But those of you that don't like outdoors because you don't like bugs or you think it might be hot or something, we do also have indoor shows during the day, so we fit everybody's needs.
Yeah, so you please everyone. And this year, you're celebrating 20 years. And
we haven't run out of history to portray, have we?
I don't think that'll ever happen. So this year, you have Winston Churchill.
Ah, yes. Our theme, we always have a theme, so we try to find characters that fit, that can work together on stage.
All right, so what is the theme this year?
This year's theme is courage.
Courage, okay.
And we wanted to find characters of history that have affected America that represent what courage means. And it comes in different ways in different people. And Winston Churchill was the absolutely first that came to mind. There's nothing more courageous, and we had no idea that there were going to be two great movies out this year.
Yeah, well,
so with Dunkirk and The Finest Hour, there's all kinds of information about Churchill out there. So having him to talk to will be lots of fun.
I think that's wonderful. So then you have Harriet Tubman.
Yes, another great, courageous soul. Having the nerve to leave safely, get herself up north, and then to me the really fun story about Harriet Tubman is she comes back. She comes back to South Carolina. She comes back to Beaufort, where Port Royal, and she serves in the Union Army for free. She organizes washing and cooking and speaks to the escaped slaves and
She
spies.
was a modern woman before her time.
Yeah, she's the first person to lead an expedition in the Army. And so the Combahia River raid is a great story that you should come to the tent and hear.
Okay. Now you have Clara Barton.
Again, a great soul that mostly is known for her role in the Red Cross. And then some of us know that we read some children's books about Angel of the Battlefield and how she was a nurse in the Civil War. Not so many people know about what she did at the South Sea Island hurricane. Those of us that live in Hilton Head and all those beautiful islands, in the late 1890s, there was a huge hurricane, and it devastated all the islands. It covered them up with seawater. The islands would have died if Clara Barton had not bring her Red Cross down. She got on the boats, got over to the islands. She was told by the government authorities of South Carolina that she should use her supplies in Charleston, which was also hit. And she said, those islands will die if I don't get people food and get them working to get the salt off of it. And so she defied the governor, and she kept her supplies, and she saved the islands.
All right. Now you've got Alice Paul. Now that's a lot of people don't, that doesn't ring a bell.
We almost always have a character in our cast who people don't really know a lot about. Maybe we would have to tell the story a little bit to have the name ring a bell. Alice Paul was a suffragette. She was a young, very beautiful woman. She had a PhD. She was allowed to, she had 2 master's degrees, earned a PhD, and she organized the silent sentinels that wore their white dresses with their signs and their sashes, and they just stood outside of Woodrow Wilson's White House. They just stood there day after day after day, in the rain, in the snow. They just stood there. And then they were arrested. You know what they were accused of? Blocking traffic. Mm-hmm. They were sent to prison. They were force-fed. They were beaten. Oh. They were forced to work in the work fields. And these were very upper-class, upper-crust women. And then they gave them the right to vote. So it's a great story. People know Susan B. Anthony.
So it is all about courage.
Yes.
You know, and then the last one, of course, is our Frances Marion.
We love telling South Carolina stories.
And we've got some gems.
I grew up in New York, and I heard the American Revolution from, as far as I'm concerned, didn't go past Yorktown. Didn't know anything about it. It all happened on Long Island and Green Mountain Boys and things like that. I come to South Carolina, and I find all this wonderful, wonderful American Revolutionary War hero stories. Frances Marion, Thomas
He got
Sumter.
that nickname, the Swamp Fox.
Yes, he got it from Barnesville Tarleton, who said, you know, he just couldn't, he was like a swamp fox. But for a while, Marion and his troops and Pickens and Sumter were the only people south of Virginia fighting. If they had not held on, it is possible that this whole South would have remained in English hands.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful character. He just keeps fighting.
Now you have these are real performances that people can come to, and you bring your kids because they learn.
Yes, with the performer, and these are all nationally acclaimed performers that come from different parts of the country.
And
we hire them and bring them in.
So somebody's coming to be Winston Churchill.
Yes, and they do this professionally.
Yeah.
So they come in costume. It will not be as much of a costume as Gary Oldman had in the the finest hour, darkest hour. But they come in costume, so you believe that you're speaking directly to the character. They come out and they tell a few stories for about a half an hour, so you get to understand and remember all those things that you did know about them as an historical figure. And then we turn it over to the audience.
And they have questions.
The audience gets to ask questions, any kind of questions. We particularly love questions from children because they usually have the smartest ideas. And then the performer has to answer in character. He can't answer from their own personal opinion. They have to come back to a story that they know, that they've read, that they've researched, or can most likely talk in the actual quotes of the person. And so they will answer the questions, and then they take a time after that, because there's some questions, oh, I know, Peggy, there's some questions I could ask you, and you wouldn't answer them because they're too personal. Or it may be something that you don't want to talk about. So you can ask the performer after that some questions that the person may not know, may not choose to talk about, or may have happened after they died.
Yeah. So now all of these people will be there in living color. And this is all free. And it's a chance to bring your families. and their children find a great deal of satisfaction out of going
I
to
think
something
one
like
of the
this.
best things that I see in the Chautauqua audience is when we have grandparents and grandchildren.
Yeah.
Because it gives the parents a little time off, and the grandparents and the grandchildren have so much to talk about and learn from each other. So yes, we love it when there are multi-generations in the audience. We love it when there are people that are very conservative and people that are very liberal, because this is about history, and there are all sides to history, and
That's
we
right.
want those questions from everyone.
So now there are about 30 free shows. Think about that. All free, 30 shows in 3 cities.
Well, actually, there's 6 cities. We're in 3 states.
I can't keep up with
Yeah.
you.
We, 2 states, North Carolina and South Carolina. We perform most of the performances in Greenville. We do 4 shows up in Asheville. We do 4 shows in Spartanburg. But we also perform in Pelzer, in Fountain Inn,
Okay.
and Travelers Rest. So each of the characters, there are 5 different shows, but you have an opportunity to see them in the daytime or in the evening. You can see all 5 shows. You can see 1 show. You can see 1 show 5 times.
So now this is June 15th through the 24th.
Yeah, it covers 2 weekends
okay.
and 5 days in the middle.
All right.
So you can see all 5 shows on either weekend. So if you have guests, you have friends that are coming up from Charleston, and you want to have them something to do, you can take them to 5 free shows either weekend that they come up. Or some people could like to spread it out during the week. Again, if you're available in the evening, you can see every show in the evening, or if you want to see in the daytime.
Like the Swamp Fox, will he be in costume?
He will come in
He'll
costume.
be dressed like he would be living at that time.
And there is a possibility that in a couple of the shows that he might actually ride in on his horse. You never know.
Okay.
All
right.
But yes, he'll come in costume. It will be the militia costume that he was be noted for. He would have some symbolic things that if you know the Francis Marion story, you'll know he should have certain things on his uniform. And Harriet Tubman will come dressed, ready to, she's not going to be out fighting the war, but she will be dressed as you would expect her to be.
All right, now we're going to go to a quick break, and of course, I have these here, and I gather you will find these brochures around, all around town.
Yes.
If you know, but it's this wonderful opportunity for families to go out and enjoy a time together. Grandchildren, if you have grandparents, take your grandkids. It's a learning experience, and it's a fun time, and it's absolutely free. And they've done this for 20 consecutive years. It's exciting. We'll be right back.